Burnouts. 2 weeks left. Chapter 1. This wasn't about Carl or James. James is not able to type, and Carl is finishing his college work. So basically, this novel is mainly focused on me. I walked to the hospital with Carl to visit James. James is better now. It's only been 3 days. Doctors say that when he crashed, he only got a concussion. You might be saying, that's good. Why isn't he out of the hospital yet? Well, he has a small percentage of memory loss right now. Dr. Jacob, James's doctor, says he could stay in the hospital after 2 days from now. Just to let you know, it's Wednesday. So, it would be Friday when he comes out. That's almost the end of this week. Plus, if you're lucky, he could practice racing after he gets out of the hospital. If we're lucky. If. So, we went out of the hospital. Dr. Jacob said he will see us the day after tomorrow. We later drove to the training area just to see that woman with yellowish heels again. What is she doing here? I don't know. Carl yelled, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Just to have a meeting with Darren. She didn't even ask me for a meeting. I told Carl to make some warm-ups around the track while I talked to the woman. We went in her car, and the shady glasses dude was outside waiting for us to finish the conversation. Is James in the competition, she asked. No, but he's getting off the hospital, though. Chapter 2. In 2 more days. She muttered. Can we replace him? She asked. Let's see. He might get up early. Give us 3 days. If we say he's not coming in, you can replace him. Why did I say that? That was a total mistake. Of course James wouldn't get up in 3 days. Carl was walking to the shady dude and he was full of sweat. I was wondering how that happened. It's 50-something degrees and he's sweating. Plus, it's only been 4 minutes. I opened my window and said, "Hey, just keep going." I get out of this thing and I'm in. I've been outside for 1.5 hours. What? I saw the sun a little lower. Huh? What happened? Then I looked over to the woman and saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. I saw on the cup holder next to the lever was a syringe. I swiftly moved my head to the left and saw a gun pointed at my face. Oh my! I stopped my sentence. I clicked the seatbelt off and jumped into the back seats. The M9 followed my body. Not today. I realized that the door was locked. I found a big book under the seats. I didn't hesitate and slammed it into the gun. Carl was there watching everything. He put his arms over the shady dude's neck. He started choking. He trembled his hands over to his chest to get his walkie-talkie. Carl clung to the walkie-talkie and threw it onto the floor. I went to the driver's seat and clicked the unlock button. The door fled open. I ran over to the shady guy and kicked him in the face. Oof, he managed to crack open through his mouth. Carl put his arm and the shady dude fell onto the ground. We sped our cars and fled off. I saw blood coming out of the poor dude's mouth. His shades were destroyed. He reached something into his pocket and pulled out a spare walkie-talkie. He smiled as he talked into it. Me and Carl stepped on our pedals and left him in the dust. Just when we thought we lost him, the white Lambo started zooming through the dust. Chapter 3. No. Carl said a swear word. Of course I can't put it here. They zipped through the streets kind of trying to get us. Carl and I split up, thinking it was a good idea. But, to my big dummy brain life decisions, a red Mustang came in following me. I drove in through the highway so I could lose them. Fortunately, that shiny hot red. Wait, why am I being encouraging to their team? I meant their dirty, unshiny red car kept following us. I went to the nearest McDonald's restaurant. It was about 3 miles away. I thought, hey, I should go there. But then my big dummy brain life decisions came through. I parked in the parking lot, letting my blue GT500 out in the open. I realized I should lock my car, but I couldn't find the keys. I scrambled through the cup holders and checked my pockets. Shady dude popped out of his car. Oh, heck no, I thought. I jumped out of my GT500 and ran into the McDonald's restaurant. I ran inside the door and asked for the restroom. The cashier told me that it was to the left. Okay, thanks. I crashed into the door into the restroom and locked the door. It was only then I realized there was no escape. I was doomed. I looked everywhere. The only thing that could work was an air vent. Like I was already banging on the door. I stepped onto the sink and pulled the vent as hard as I could. It wouldn't budge. I found 2 markers on the ground that were on the walls. I picked them up with the caps and bashed them into the vent. It would just not budge. The guy burst in. "Ah!" I yelled. I kicked the guy in the knees and ran out of the restroom. The guy ran out too. He covered my mouth. Haha, you can't run. I already called them. By the time he said called them, his teeth were gritted. He pulled harder. Pulled even harder. I used my hand and body slammed her on the floor. I flew out the door. The door was an automatic door, and I pushed it. The emergency alarm went crazy. Everyone eating their Big Macs, chicken nuggets, or even opening their Happy Meal screamed. The entire place went nuts. I went to my car just to see the guy come out. I hit him with the car. He slammed onto my hood. He said, "Are you crazy? You're the one who's trying to kill me." He tried to break the windshield, but I drifted left. I stepped under the pedal and fell to the side. Chapter 4. I called Carl. He didn't answer. I texted him with a, "Where are you?" He replied with a emoji. What the heck? I asked myself. It's only been 1 day since the incident happened. I'm pretty sure I'm number 1 on the police wanted list. I ignored Carl's text and drove to the training area. There he was. Do you think they're tracking us? Doubt it. Just called James about yesterday. Carl agreed and we drove. In the middle of the journey, I called Carl. "Where did you go yesterday?" I asked him. I dropped into a neighborhood and then the red Lambo drove faster and tried to shoot me. I swerved left and crashed into a house. What? Yeah. The person in there burst out and covered in charcoal. I had to zip out of there. I became speechless. I ended the call and stopped at the hospital. Once again, the song was never gonna give you up. We made it to 8C and opened the door. Jim was sitting without his wrap bandages around his face. His right legs were about to be set on the ground. "Stop," Carl and I said together. "What? You can't be standing until tomorrow." "Yeah. Dr. Jacob said tomorrow." I don't care. He put up a limping face. "I don't care what Dr. Jacob says. Remember what happened to the patient he had 5 years ago? That was 5 years ago. My cousin wasn't even born yet." James disobeyed us and stepped on the ground. "No," Carl closed his eyes. "Look, nothing happened," said James. Carl opened his eyes. The corner of James's white new pants touched the floor. His white NBA socks were shoved into his gray shoes. Except it was just his right leg, and his left leg started coming down slowly. The process restarted, and soon enough, both of his legs were locked onto the ground. Okay, this is when the real stuff happens. He sucked in his teeth. Chapter 5. Me, Carl, and James walked out of the hospital. "Where's my car? I gave you the keys when I was unconscious." I looked at Carl. "Here." He tossed the keys and James caught them without even flinching. We walked over to James' Dodge Viper. James swerved his hand over the top of the car. And dang, this thing is still fire red. He unlocked the door and got inside. The car's engines revved. The Dodge Viper backed up and zipped onto the highway. Carl zipped next, and I was the last one. I waved to Carl. That's when I drove onto the highway. Then when he drove onto the highway, I stopped waving. I pulled my hand down and walked to my Labrador Zulu T500. I flopped in my seat and turned on the engine. The engine gurgled and clanked. The gurgling and clanking turned into a new sound. I backed up my car and turned to the exit. Just then, I noticed something. There was a red Mustang. What? I said. My heart was beating like a metronome. Crap. The Mustang was ready to drive through the exit. I backed up a bit. The Mustang followed me. I went to the second exit. The Mustang came about me about around 20 miles per hour. I stepped on the gas. I zapped through the streets at 80 miles per hour. I wasn't able to read it correctly, but the speed limit sign probably said 60 miles per hour. And then I looked at my next street. Then my eyes dropped down to the street lights. It was on yellow. I zipped up to 90 miles per hour. Zoom! The first second the light was yellow. The next millisecond it was red. Phew. The red car stopped. Then I heard a siren. No way. I swiftly cracked my eyes to the mirror. A police car was behind me. There was only one thing to do. I stepped on the pedal and got a hold of the wheel. Chapter 6. The cops' sirens became louder. First there was one cop, then 2, 3, 4, and that's when I mixed up the cars. I don't ever learn about your lesson. I exhaled and drove off. I looked back in the mirror. Huh? I looked out my window. The car stopped. Yellow heels girl comes right out. I learned martial arts. Why is it so difficult to get out of my car? I thought, oh, yeah, I learned martial arts when I was 7 years old. I disobeyed my mind and quickly got out of my car. Good more. She kicked me in the face. I could have stayed inside. Why? She asked. What? Why do you fight us? Bruh, it's obvious. Well, first of all, you injected me with some serum of some sort. Second, your assistant tried to shoot me. Third, she broke into my sentence. Wait, my assistant tried to shoot you? Yeah. With an M9? Charles? She called. Yes, ma'am. I backed away. She pulled out a Glock. What did you do? She asked. He put his hands up and kneeled. I'm sorry, Miss Pam. Chapter 7. She shot the ground. Ah, Charles said. He looked up, then looked at himself. He sighed. I won't do it again. You better not. I backed behind my car. I slowly went inside. I opened my GG500 and opened the window. The woman said, the race is just 2 days away. Chapter 8. 2 days passed. Today's the day. A Mercedes-Benz Black Series parked in the parking lot. What's up, my man? He said. I'm Kyle. What's yours? Darren. You're nice. You here for the race? Yep. Carl and James' cars stopped next to mine. It starts at 12. I said, we know. We just got here early though. A Toyota Supra arrived a few minutes later. Hola, said a white costume driver with a helmet. What's your name? I asked. ¿Qué? He asked. ¿Cómo te llamas? I asked back. Soy Luis, he responded. Bien nombre, I said. Gracias, amigo, he said back. Good thing I knew Spanish. By the time we finished our conversation, it was 11:56. Guys, let's go to the Christmas tree. It's a pole like a street light, but for drag racing. Luis probably didn't understand me, but he followed us anyways. The yellow-dressed lady was now dressed in red, yellow, and green. She went on the speaker and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we welcome to you all the yearly universal drag race. Today we have 5 countries that signed up for the race. We have a black Mercedes-Benz from the United Kingdom, a green Camaro from England, a red Dodge Viper from Canada, a blue Ford GT500 from the US, and a Toyota Supra from Spain." Woo! The crowd screamed. People threw up Japan, Canada, UK, and US flags. This was it. 11:59. 3, 2, 1. I kicked the pedal. I had the fast acceleration. From 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2 seconds. Louis was next to me. I pushed my pedal hard. 120 miles per hour now. Carl zipped next to Kyle. Kyle moved higher. Louis boosted into first place. James advanced next to me. Kyle moved both of us. I quickly switched to 150 miles per hour. I passed Kyle. Louis was still in front of me, but I skipped next to him. I used nitrogen. I passed him and drove into 190 miles per hour. James started catching up with me. Then a flashback of me and James in middle school racing with our golf carts came. Of me and James in middle school racing with our golf carts. I snapped out of the situation and realized I was in fourth place. I quickly changed back into a 190 miles per hour. It took me a little while though. I was next to Carl, who was in second place. Carl set up his fingers into an L. I sped up with nitrogen. I saw a curve up ahead. I was on the left side of the track. I swiveled to the right and made a burnout. Burnout. Chapter 10. Dang it, mouthed Carl. I laughed. I used some nitrogen. Yes, I reached 201 miles per hour. I fled into first place. I looked onto my mirror. Carl was behind me. Come on, 205, 206, 207. I reached 210. Louis passed through Kyle and drifted past me. I drove faster. Louis stopped and cursed to the left. Whoa! I swiftly drifted to the left. I almost hit his car. With Carl bypassing me, I only had to do one last thing. I used nitrogen, then shifted a hard burnout, enough to let both cars covered in dust and exhaustion. The crowd cheered. Then a black Mercedes-Benz moved past me. Chapter 11. I drove into a quick formation to distract Kyle. The finish line was only 1 mile away. Nitrogen, my mind said. I used nitrogen and moved past Kyle. That was probably one of the first times my big dummy brain life decisions saved me. Yes, I sliced through the finish line. The crowd went more wild than 72 packs of wolves starving since the day they were born. People shot red, white, and blue confetti. A plain sign said, "Darren the Demolisher." Kyle broke in second and Carl arrived third. Chapter 12. The yellow shield lady walked me, Kyle, and Carl to 3 trophies. Mine was gold, and the words "Darren the Demolisher" were engraved in sparkling gold. Kyle and Carl's trophies showed a 2 and 3 on it. While paparazzi flashed pictures, I saw James and Louise get a certificate that said, "Thank you for participating. See you next year."